Welcome back. While Salga KZN is raising concerns over the killing of local councillors, this follows the fatal shooting of Siyanda Magubane from Msinga Municipality. In the same week, a councillor, Ethekwini, Mnqobi Molefe, was also killed in similar circumstances. Let's discuss this and what's also being done to resolve the problem. We're joined now by Salga's KZN Chairperson, Thami Ntuli. A very good morning to you, Mr. Ntuli, and thank you so much for your time. I mean, obviously the first call would be the police need to do something. The police need to step in and deal with this issue. But it's an issue, sir, that has been raging for years on end. It's an issue that usually gets worse around election season. And we do know, especially with the ANC, that's what's coming up at the end of this year. So could it perhaps be linked to something like that? Or is this just ordinary killing of local councillors in the province that is known for it?
Good morning, Morena and Faith, and your viewers. Not only the one we are mentioning, just yesterday, another councillor in Maphumulo municipality, local municipality, was also killed, which seems to be something which is happening in each and every 3 or 4 days now in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And we're of the view as Salga, you know, when we were at East London with the Minister of Culture, Dr. Nkosi Zuma, and the Minister of Police, Honorable Ethekwini, I raised as on behalf of Salga KZN that the concern we have is that there are legislations which in fact allows councillors to be given security whenever they are receiving messages of threat or their actions that are threatening their lives. But the assessment, it takes a very long time. It takes months before a councillor is actually warranted some kind of security in a dangerous situation. And we said, we have a feeling that this needs to be changed. The regulations needs to be changed so that immediately a councillor receiving some kind of threats will be awarded security. But we believe to put this to a stop, there is no other way other than to ensure that the investigations, the 72 hours or 48 hours turnaround time is actually introduced whenever a politician or a councillor is killed. KwaZulu-Natal is a bit unsafe province when you look at the reality that even Amakhosi are assassinated in this province. Even the municipal officials, ordinary municipal officials, are assassinated in this province. So I think attention ought to be given to this province. We have been having commissions, listening to different political parties, but that has not put to an end or a stop the killings of the politicians, councillors, and even Amakhosi now this time around. We believe as Salga, the only thing that we will terminate this will be to have the turnaround on arrest and ensure that arrests are made, or there must be a special kind of a unit or attention that will be given to this kind of violence in the province of KwaZulu-Natal.
Thami, I'm trying to understand why is this happening? You know, before we go into even diagnosing the problem, we need to be able to understand why has the problem been persisting for so long? Is it because the province has got people that are just naturally violent? Is it because it's politics of the stomach? So everybody now is thinking about how I'm going to eat through the cocktail of riding, of being affiliated to a political party and therefore being a councillor with all the kickbacks that I can potentially get, the tenders I can potentially get, the benefits I can potentially get? Or is just this a culmination of just pure lawlessness? I mean, why? I mean, political killings are not necessarily new to the South African context. We have a violent past. It's also prevalent in other provinces, but not so much like KwaZulu-Natal. Why is it happening?
Well, lawlessness, I think, could be the cause. The province is not a violent province. People are not violent in the province. They are quite very peaceful. But I believe, unless arrests are made, it's not easy to get to the gist of it. I heard during the commission that the mention of what you are citing fighting for resources, kickbacks, etc., that they seem to be an issue. But I do not understand, because the councillors that are killed are ordinary councillors, just ward councillors, an ordinary councillor. It might happen that maybe someone sees an opportunity of being a councillor. I'm saying it might, but to understand exactly as to what is the cause is something that can be discovered when arrests are made. People confess as to what is driving their agenda. The unfortunate part is that despite so many cases that are happening in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, but we're not seeing the results in terms of the investigations, in terms of the arrest. It seems as if business is always as usual, whereas things are not normal in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, because you sleep not knowing what further report you receive about a councillor, about a municipal official, about Nkosi being killed in the province of KwaZulu-Natal.
Do you find, Mr. Ntuli, that there is no willingness from the police officials? Maybe we can take it as far as the minister himself, that there's just not enough willingness to deal with this issue because there is this perception, this narrative that, well, I mean, it is the KZN, it is known for, the killing of politicians, local councillors. So, putting all that manpower into something that will never really end, when we could instead move that manpower to dealing with things like GBV, things like cash and transit heist, things that we can really squash quickly. Do you feel that there's just no willingness from the police to deal with this matter that you guys as Salga and the KZN have been crying about for so long?
Police are always lamenting on the issue of the resources, that they don't have adequate resources. But at the same time, we've never had a pronunciation by the Minister of Police giving a particular turnaround time in the arrest of the perpetrators of such kind of killings and violence. In fact, to us as Salga in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, that is what we are calling for, because the issue of willingness will be informed by such pronouncements, which we have seen when police were actually killed. That will result to the arrest, because there are so many cases. The list is endless. They are dating back as years ago, where councillors were killed, investigation were believed to be starting. We had some kind of interviews and some kind of information sharing, but ultimately, arrests are not there. And that's why this kind of killings is going to continue, because the perpetrators, they always run free. We believe that if the National Minister of Police can take this as a priority issue and make some kind of pronouncement of the turnaround, I think then people will see that this is a no-go area.
It certainly is quite concerning to see how little is being done to salvage this issue. And it's unfortunately, when it comes to these political killings or whatever it is, these killings, they're coming in from all different corners. If you don't get a handle on it soon, it's unfortunate to see how many more people will die, especially as you were mentioning, leading up to the National Conference of the African National Congress. But we leave it there for now. Salga KZN Chairperson Thami Ntuli, thank you very much for your time this morning. On to